Psychedelics as Modern Medicine for Psychiatric Ailments by Drew Schmidt, Aidan Prado, and Brad Larison. A psychedelic is a drug which produces an alteration in the mind, especially an apparent expansion of consciousness, often accompanied by hallucination. Psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy is a unique marriage of psychedelic drugs and psychotherapy administered in a professionally monitored environment to create rapid and long-lasting psychological and behavioral change in people suffering from persistent disorders such as PTSD. In a matter of hours, mind-altering substances may induce profound psychological realignments that can take decades to achieve on a therapist's couch. This bold claim highlights the growing interest in psychedelics as a powerful tool for mental health. The psychedelic era began with a bold self-experiment. On a Monday afternoon in April 1943, Albert Hofmann, a chemist at the pharmaceutical company Sandoz in Basel, Switzerland, took 250 micrograms of LSD. Hofmann had derived the compound from ergot, a fungus that grows on wheat, but it has shown few effects on rodents. Now, on a hunch, he decided to try it himself. As Hofmann biked home, the world began to appear distorted, and time seemed to slow. At home, the furniture turned into threatening forms. His neighbor appeared to him as a wicked witch, and he felt his sense of self dissolve. He thought he was losing his mind. The next morning, however, he woke up with a clear head, feeling euphoric. I was aware that LSD, a new active compound with such properties, would have to be of use in pharmacology, in neurology, and especially in psychiatry, he wrote. Sandoz soon started producing the drug under the name Delecide and asked researchers all over the world to experiment with it. Much still remains unclear about the precise neural mechanisms governing how these drugs produce their mind-bending results, but they often produce somewhat similar psychoactive effects that make them potential therapeutic tools. Our thesis is that modern psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy is effective in treating psychiatric ailments.
Doctors and scientists began to use psychedelics as treatment for a variety of ailments. However, much of the research being done on the topic did not meet scientific research standards. The research that was done, even though somewhat unthorough, it may have suggested that these substances were used to treat conditions such as PTSD and alcoholism. Psychedelics come with serious risks. Taken in large or uncontrolled doses, these substances can trigger mental health issues, especially in people with a history of conditions like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. A recent study shows of the 117 patients, final PCL scores 88 suggested clinically measurable improvement and 72 suggested remission of PTSD symptoms. Psychedelics used as treatment or medicine can lead to negative side effects and can be more problematic than helpful. These substances consumed in large quantities can lead to various forms of mental illness such as psychosis or bring about mental illness the consumer is predisposed to, such as bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. These illnesses can prevent one from actually healing with their deficiency or disorder. Further, most of the experiments were not up to modern standards, says neurologist Franz von Wider. Success was measured in vague terms, control groups were often lacking, but still the studies were very suggestive and some have stood the test of time.
McConnell looks at ketamine and its effects in treating PTSD, while Kupferschmidt argues that there is evidence of LSD being a viable treatment for addiction and encourages more studies to be done on the substance. From the quote above, we can see that Simonson's study shows that a small percentage of lifetime psychedelic users experience psychiatric disorders as a side effect, including hallucinogen persisting perception disorder. The results shown above from Romeo's study indicate that taken at moderate to high doses, psychedelics can significantly increase both diastolic and systolic blood pressure, which could in turn lead to cardiovascular issues. Psychedelics show promise for their ability to treat mental illness, but there are many arguments against this form of psychotherapy due to potential side effects. While each person differs in which drug they are analyzing, both authors find value in these drugs and their abilities to treat illnesses that there has yet to be found consistent treatments for. The data in both studies indicates the value of psychedelic drugs and their ability to treat illnesses plaguing many dysfortunate people. However, the question remains, what could be the potential long and short-term side effects of psychedelics?
Neuroplasticity is the ability of the nervous system to form and recognize connections and pathways as during development and learning or following injury. Psychedelics not only offer symptom relief, but also encourage long-term neurological and cognitive healing by promoting neuroplasticity and altering brain function in meaningful ways. For example, Dr. Hetz Pentelis has done extensive research on how psychedelics trigger neuroplasticity And note that even one dose of psilocybin can change the structure of the brain by increasing the number of neural connections, which lasted for weeks after the experience. Espentalis and Olson emphasized the biological aspect of psychedelics, noting their ability to reshape brain circuits. Brown highlights their broader therapeutic value in treating difficult psychiatric conditions. Both argue for the long-term healing potential of psychedelics but focus on different mechanisms, one physiological, one psychological. This is something I can personally relate to, as I, as a Navy veteran, have used psychedelic medicines to alleviate my PTSD symptoms.
Psychedelics are proving to be more than just controversial substances. They are emerging as a powerful tool in the treatment of mental health for conditions such as PTSD, depression, and addiction. From altering brain structure and promoting neuroplasticity to supporting long-term emotional healing, the research overwhelmingly suggests that these drugs, when used responsibly, offer significant value.